Do you have a thought on, from a defensive perspective on the choice of Casey to be the quarterback?
Yeah, I support anything that happens over there. To be honest, I'm focused really on what we got going defensively over the course of time. I thought both guys have been doing a good job through the reps that I had seen on film, and both guys have some skill sets that are unique to them. I think Casey he's got a lot of velocity to the ball and has done some good things as far as pushing the ball downfield, and can move out of the pocket, did some good things with his feet as well in certain situations. So again, I just support that decision one way or the other, and our defensive guys all feel the same way. Well, we're going to support Casey as QB1, but we're also going to support Tucker because he's a big part of this thing as well, and he's one play away. So we'll rally behind both those guys in any given circumstance or scenario. And so we're excited about just, hey, let's move on and get this thing rolling.
Maybe the only truly unsolidified spot on the defense right now is inside linebacker. There seems to be so much depth there.
Yeah.
Do you feel like any of those guys in that group really do have potential elite talent?
Mm-hmm. I think it's been a fun group to watch, and I think Coach Daly's doing a really good job of trying to make sure that all those guys are getting an equal amount of reps. So everyone at the end of the day, when we do make a decision, everyone feels like, hey, I got my chance, I got my shot. I think Saturday, Nolan Askelson really stood out a little bit as far as being able to just make plays, and that's a big part of that position. We need guys that are going to be able to, when the ball comes their way, whether it's downhill inside zone or if it's a swing screen to the flat or if they're bringing a pressure, we need guys that are going to be playmakers in that spot. And I think Nolan really stepped up on Saturday as far as proving that he could be that guy. But the thing is, with that group, every day it seems to be someone else. Walker Cozy had a big play on Saturday as well. We've got Taden Gilman at times. Callahan O'Reilly's made some plays out in space. So everybody is proving that, hey, they can make it. And so, hey, the more depth, the better when it's all said and done, because as we know, it's a long season. It's a physical game. And so we feel really good just about the depth overall.
You guys picked off 3 passes during the scrimmage. How do you feel like your secondary is looking so far? Specifically, maybe your cornerbacks.
Mm-hmm. I really like where the cornerbacks are playing, how they're playing right now as far as their mentality. We really like to have the tight coverage, and to play tight coverage, you got to have corners that really embrace that mentality. And I think our guys have really done that within our concepts or scheme as well. They've got to know as far as situations. They've got to know alignments to be perfect as far as their alignments based on certain splits, wide receiver splits. So they can't just be out there and point to the guy across them and go, I've got him every single snap. They've got to have some FBI or some situational awareness, and I think our guys have really grasped onto that as well. And I'm excited about their development over the course from springtime until now. I think that cornerback position has really taken steps in the right position, or in the right direction. And then as far as you had 3 takeaways on Saturday, I think we had another 2 today in 7-on-7. Our total within our room, I think we're sitting at 13 or 15 through fall camp, which is pretty dang good considering the reps that we're getting and just the opportunities. And they've left some opportunities out there that we continue to make sure they understand that we can't miss those type of ops. But that's what we preach. If we're going to be the best group in the country, we got to be great at getting the ball back. Score, get the ball back. That's our job.
The nickelback position has evolved so much at every level for the last 10 years. How important is that position going to be in your defense?
Yeah, it's a very important position because of how offenses have evolved into more of your spread, getting a lot of athletes out there, making sure they can stretch you horizontally and vertically. So you've got to match that on the defensive side with athletes that can run and cover with those guys. And so that nickel position's got to be a guy that can cover, play the tight coverage that we want to play, but also has to be great as far as run support is concerned. So it's a very versatile position. Every once in a while we'll bring the nickel off the edge as well as far as being a pass rusher. So he's got to be a guy that is both great in coverage, but also physical enough in the run game and versatile enough to be able to bring him off the edge.
Is the secondary looking to be kind of your focal point, the way they're playing early on right now with your defense?
I think it always starts up front. We've got to stop the run, but we've got a good front in that regard. But you can't be a good defense if your secondary doesn't play well and doesn't get the ball when the opportunity comes. We want to be an aggressive ball hawking unit in the back end. And every single day our objective is to get the ball, score, get the ball back. And I think our guys have really, again, caught on to that, and they're hungry for that, and you can see them attacking the football when the ball's in the air. That's our mentality. The ball's in the air, it's ours. And then we also, as a safety group in particular, we've got to be great as far as a run support, help those guys up front, which sets us up as far as those third down, money down opportunities where now we know the ball's going to be in the air, and that's where we can go get it.
We talked a lot about those great safety pair that you have. How important is JoJo Henderson providing depth there as well as some leadership for them?
Yeah, JoJo's been awesome. JoJo has had an absolute awesome fall camp so far. Obviously never satisfied, and he wants to keep plugging away and getting better and better. But just because we've got those two guys that are returning starters, all conference caliber players, doesn't mean that that's set in stone that those are going to be the first two guys. We want competition in every room. Just like we've got competition in the inside linebacker room, we want competition in the back end. And if our guys are pushing those guys up front, it's just going to make them better. And I think JoJo's done a great job as far as just, hey, I'm going to compete. I'm going to come out here in every rep. I'm going to give everything I got and see what I can do. And he had one of his best days on Saturday as far as flying around. I think he led us in tackles as a back unit. And so I'm excited about where he's at. And then the other guy alongside him when the twos roll out there is Ty Okada. That's done a really good job, number 9. I think those two guys right now, that safety group is playing at a high level, which is going to force those guys in front of them to continue to up their level of play as well, which is what you want.
How could you evaluate just the pass rush at this point in camp? And would you say that those guys have been getting to the quarterback enough during the live team?
Yeah, it's so hard at times during fall camp. Obviously Saturday we got an opportunity because the quarterbacks were live, so we got a chance to see how we would finish certain pass rush situations. And so if you were just to base it off of that, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't up to our standard. Okay, but going back through the first however many practices, 7, 8 practices, I feel like there were days that we do get good push, great pass rush. Sturk had a day where we accounted him for 3 or 4 sacks. So we've had days, but we still need to be able to see it on film as far as finishing in those opportunities. And if we're going to play the tight coverage in the back, it's got to match up front as far as guys getting home, and then vice versa. Because we can't be playing coverage all day back in if we're not getting up home up front. So we're definitely need those guys up front to be the dynamic playmakers that we think they can be.
What kind of impact does Derek Marks bring, and what do you think is his main potential on the field this season?
Derek has just been a workman guy his whole career. He's been a guy that's been in the weight room. He's put in the work in the film room. He's doing all the extra things in order to put himself above everybody else. In order to take his game to the next level, you can just see it all off season. It's been fun to watch, just his development, and then it's been really fun to see it how it's now carried over on the field. He's a technician. He plays with tremendous leverage. He uses the strength that he's gained in the weight room in order to create great knockoff up front and then separate from blocks and make plays on the run game. And then he's really focused a lot of his attention in the offseason on his pass rush ability and improving in that area, and I think he's done that. And so he's a guy that we can move to any of the 4 positions on the defensive front, and we would be fine. And he's going to be extremely productive for us this year.
Who's emerged opposite of Munch and other cornerbacks?
That spot that's been a fun competition to watch as well. And the same thing, as much as Munchie's had a good camp, the unfortunate injury on Saturday, but regardless, we still have some really good competition behind him and pushing him as well. I think Tyree Gibson's having a really good camp as a young guy. Damian Washington is the old guy. We call him Grandpa in the room. Feels like he's been here forever. But all of a sudden he's got some turbojets that have turned on out of nowhere. So he's looking good at times as well. Lavelle Price has been really good for us at the nickel, but also playing on the outside as far as his coverage ability and skills. And then, the list goes on. These guys are really stepped up. Tyrell Thomas, who's a guy that started and played a lot of football here and has tremendous cover skills, has really started to learn everything within our defense, which is just going to make him that much better of a corner and that much better of a player. So we've got some hungry guys at that position that I think we can rotate and stay fresh. With as much tempo and spread offenses that we're going to see, we need as many guys back there that can cover. But they'll just naming going through that group, it's like, wow, we got some guys that can run and cover, and they're hungry. And so it's going to be also a fun competition throughout the rest of this camp.
All right, thanks, Ken.
Thank you. Appreciate it.